Since when has that old wound remained unhealed? Why is Taehyung only now speaking about it publicly? And more shockingly, is it true that Jungkook is still carrying that pain to this day? In a public statement that stunned the international community, Kim Taehyung, or better known as V of BTS, finally spoke up. Not about career, not about music, and not even about his future in the entertainment industry, but about Jungkook, his fellow group member, who has been with him through more than a decade of both glamour and darkness in the K-pop industry. What shocked the public wasn't merely the fact that Taehyung spoke, but the content of his statement. Jungkook is still carrying a wound. In the clip, Taehyung's voice sounded calm but heavy, as though he was holding back something long buried. "I can't stay silent anymore," he said. Jungkook never really recovered from that. We all know it, but no one ever truly talked about it. That sentence, though brief, carries immense weight. He didn't explicitly say what happened, but that statement alone was enough to spark speculation and further investigation, even from major international media outlets. I asked this about an internal conflict within BTS that has long been whispered about. Or is it related to the extreme pressure Jungkook faced as the maknae, youngest member, of the world's most famous group? Digging deeper, internal sources close to HYB confirmed that the wound Taehyung referred to is not physical, nor was it a specific incident previously known to the public. It goes deeper than that. An emotional, psychological wound formed from years of pressure, overwhelming expectations, and most notably, an incident involving betrayed trust. Information gathered from various sources indicates that in the period leading up to BTS's hiatus in 2022, there were significant internal dynamics. Some sources claimed there was a divergence of visions among the members, particularly regarding musical direction, solo projects, and management pressure to maintain global popularity. Jungkook, who was then transitioning from a teen idol to a mature artist, faced double pressure. He had to meet the expectations of management, the public, and at the same time, struggle with his own identity. A former BTS staff member, who chose to remain anonymous, said that Jungkook almost decided to leave the group at the end of 2021. He was mentally exhausted. There was a moment when he felt he was just a promotional tool. He couldn't sleep, he stopped writing songs, and even refused to appear in a recording session due to emotional instability, the source revealed. Why did Taehyung do it now? Many Korean entertainment analysts believe this statement is part of Taehyung's effort to open a healthier dialogue between idols and fans. There has been excessive romanticization of celebrity life, especially in K-pop. The truth is, they're just regular people who can be hurt, feel like failures, and lose their way. Taehyung may be trying to convey that Jungkook, despite appearing perfect, was also once at his weakest, said Dr. Han Ji-woo, a media psychology expert from Seoul National University. It wasn't just fans who were stunned. Several top Korean celebrities like IU, RM, and even international artists who have worked with BTS also reacted. IU, in her Instagram story post, said, "All this time I thought Jungkook was the strongest person I've ever met. But I was wrong. We were all wrong." Meanwhile, RM, known as the leader of BTS, wrote on the weverse fan platform, "We never know how deep a person's wound is, even if he's your own brother." One of the biggest speculations arose when the public connected Taehyung's statement to the viral event of Jungkook's emotional isolation during the promotion of his solo album in 2023. At the time, fans noticed Jungkook frequently avoided in-depth interviews and rarely talked openly about his feelings. Interviews that should have been emotional reflections were filled with short, flat answers. Now, with Taehyung's statement, that behavior starts to make sense. What makes it even more complex is the emerging hint that the wound wasn't just about pressure or mental exhaustion, but a personal conflict involving one of the members. Although Taehyung didn't mention any names, netizens quickly speculated and created various theories. Past behaviors and interactions among members were reanalyzed. This crisis shows the immense pressure faced by global idols. Jungkook, despite being dubbed the Golden Maknae, apparently carries an invisible wound. And Taehyung's confession, regardless of the risk, is an act of bravery. Many have praised Taehyung's move as an important step toward openness and better mental health within the K-pop industry, which has long been known for its secrecy and demand for absolute perfection. The big question now is, does that wound still affect Jungkook today? And more importantly, will there be a follow-up statement from Jungkook himself? So far, Jungkook has not responded directly. His personal social media accounts remain quiet, and his public schedule continues as planned. But the public knows silence does not mean healing in the end. The public can only wait. Will there be a follow-up from Jungkook? Will the wound truly be revealed? And if so, will it change the direction of BTS as a group? Can they still walk together with an unhealed wound? Or is this a sign of the end of an era? However, at this point, we must all ask, does what Taehyung revealed truly reflect the reality that is happening? Or is this merely part of a grand narrative deliberately crafted to garner public sympathy and attract media attention? In an era where every video clip, every quoted sentence, and every facial expression can be twisted to create sensation, it is vital for all of us, as a global, critical audience, not to be swept away by emotion without first thoroughly verifying the facts. It must be emphasized that the information presented in this report comes from various platforms, including TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and other sources that may not adhere to rigorous journalistic verification. This means that some data and quotes circulating in the public sphere, although seemingly valid, still require official confirmation from the relevant parties, especially hybe and the BTS members themselves. Then, are we as viewers willing to accept unverified information just because the narrative is emotionally stirring? We live in an era where the speed of information dissemination far exceeds the pace of truth verification. In this condition, have we become victims of a cycle of false news wrapped in emotional packaging? Is it possible that, unconsciously, we have believed something untrue simply because it touched our hearts? And most importantly, to what extent are we able to maintain a distance between empathy and objectivity? We invite you, intelligent and principled readers, not just to read and absorb, but also to critically analyze and question. Is this the hidden truth all along? Or is this just another scenario in the entertainment industry full of intrigue and distractions? Isn't it very likely that all of this is designed to divert public attention from a much larger issue behind the scenes? Now is the time for us all to pause and reflect. Are we merely passive consumers of information, or active participants in shaping objective understanding? Do we want to continue being tossed around by emotional narratives without foundation, or begin arming ourselves with reason and skepticism? We value your attention and emotion toward this incident. But more than that, we urge you to remain critical, selective, and rational in responding to every piece of news circulating. Truth does not arise from the number of shares or trending topics, but from honesty, transparency, and the courage to dig deeper. Thank you for reading and reflecting with us. The question now is, what do you believe?